You are watching UCU Focus TV. Welcome to Media Link News with Zipporah Faith.
A good evening and welcome to the Media Link News with me, Zipporah Faith. Our top story today, the Gill government's budget is in its final stages of appropriation but awaits approval from the DOSA's office. We have this in details.
After a series of parliamentary sittings, the 25th Gill government has passed a 216 million budget, about 6 million less than the former Gill government's budget. The provisional document has been tabled at the Office of the Directorate of Student Affairs, awaiting her approval, as Emmanuel Edonu, the Deputy Speaker, explains.
We've been in position to conclude with our budgeting process, and basically, as a role of Parliament, we have 4 major functions we play. That is legislation, oversight, representation, and above all, budget approval and appropriation. So we were given a sum of about 216 million to budget on due to the problems of financial challenges that the institution is facing. And we sat down as Parliament and tried to appropriate the money to different ministries to see to it that each ministry at least gets something to serve the interests of the students.
Asked about the major government priorities in the budget, the Deputy Speaker informed us that the President's manifesto took the lead guiding their decision-making.
The process of budgeting is basically simple. Parliament has to sit, and once they sit, the different ministries, the Minister of Finance reads out the budget with the different ministries, and the different ministers come and lay down the activities in their ministries, and Parliament decides on whether to take up the budget or drop some items and prioritize on the different ministries that are supposed to be there. So some of the ministries that we have prioritized on, of course, first and foremost, we do not have to run away from the President's vision. He wants a digital government, so we are having digital branding experience happening. So the Ministry of Information and ICT on a priority. But of course, I'm not going to run away from the usual ministries that always have to be granted priorities. One of the ministries we have is education, that handles the issue of Guild Fund. It has been given priority. Then the Ministry of Health. We all know that health is a global issue and it's a complex one. Therefore, you cannot undermine it. It was also given attention.
Concerns pertaining student inclusion in the budgeting process are on the rise, as most members of Parliament kept this information confidential, and this has attracted negative feedback from some analysts.
Since it's entitled the students' budget, it will be very fallacious to say that it's a student's budget, yet the students themselves, a big number of them, actually I think all of them, if it's on a scale of 100%, from 0 to 100%, if 0.10 is the only one that knows about this budget, plus the government officials themselves, then it's not a student's budget. Why cover up something that is meant for the students? It does not make sense. We, as the electorate, we should be included in the whole process. We understand we voted these leaders to represent us, but we shouldn't be left out, because without us, they wouldn't be where they are. So leaving us in the darkness, and yet they're doing whatever they are doing, and later on we get to know, hey, this is what's happening, or this is what has happened.
On the budgetary allocations, he pointed this out.
In my own view, given the President's manifesto, and it wouldn't be bad given the President's manifesto, but in my own view, given the current situation that the university is in right now, that's what should be prioritized. Why? We understand you have something to fulfill that you promised, which is Kawa, and we stand with you. But however, how are the students? What is the situation around campus? Right now, you realize that if you go to finance, things are not Kawa. Students haven't yet paid tuition, and yet examination time is about. The VC last time in the last community worship we had assured us that if you haven't paid full tuition, not doing exams. And yet you find that some students have a very little balance that maybe they might not be able to pay within that given period of time. So I think the main priority that this budget would have looked at would be the Guild Fund. You get the guild fund should be looked at more, because why? That touches students on a personal basis. It touches them directly.
The budget will be ready for enactment after clearance from the DOSA's office, much as most students remain largely unaware of its proceedings. Conrad Galdino, Ukuru Timothy, Media Link News.
Thank you so much, Timothy, for that story. On Wednesday this week, the Faculty of Social Work went to the polls to vote in their society leaders. Much as the election process was poorly attended, the new leadership is ready to take over.
On 15th March, the Faculty of Social Work at Uganda Christian University took a major step in ensuring student leadership through voting their leaders.
The positions candidates are being voted for. There are 6 positions. However, there are 10, but only 6 were able to apply. That's President, Speaker, Organizing Secretary, and the General Secretary, then Deputy Speaker.
Voting was carried out online through the virtual eChagua system, which was open to students from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Prior to vote casting, we were able to reach out to the candidates' agents who expressed optimism of a high voter turnout.
The nomination students turned up very well, and during this process of election, they are still turning up very well, and I have to acknowledge that and appreciate the Electoral Commission. They have done a good job, and students are willing and they are participating.
Students are showing interest because they need to be represented on 21st. Because Social Work Day is always on 21st of March. It's always on March, but this year we are doing it on 21st. So students are showing that interest because these are the leaders who come in to represent them when we are having those activities in the Faculty of Social Sciences.
However, turnout was quite lower than expected. For example, for the position of president, out of 348 verified voters, only 95 voted, while for the position of speakership, 99 voted out of 348 verified voters, whereas only 93 votes were cast for the post of General Secretary. Nevertheless, the point of organizing the elections proved to be worthy and showed that the online voting system is favorable for students.
It is important in the way that it is just the way how they can exercise their rights of democracy, starting from the level of education. Online election, it does not only favor the student at the campus currently, but also gives opportunity for those students who are coming from very far. They can vote from their places of residence. But also that one, it can try to address the issue of malpractices in election.
As part of my role was just to oversee everything that was happening, the events that were unfolding during the course of the election, and everything I would say was positive. I did not see any sort of fabrication here and there. The election was an online one, and I can say that it was convenient. The results were effective and efficient. The system was working perfectly. So I think that is my view as per the election.
At the end of the elections, Kaya Busimo was declared the official president of the Faculty of Social Work against his opponent, Patricia Kakasa. Charlotte Nalule, Audrey Amono, reporting for Media Link News.
Thank you so much, Charlotte Nalule and Audrey Amuno, for the updates. Over the past few months, the School of Social Work has gone through a series of elections. Today, we weigh in on online elections against the ballot casting. Marvin.
The COVID-19 pandemic brought with it some hard lessons that have resulted in a new order in the corporate workspace. UC has not been an exemption to this. Virtual measures have been integrated to the system, looking at the ALF and the Moodle apps, and now the iChagua online voting system.
25th October 2020, Uganda Christian University officially unveiled the iChagua program.
Today, we are weighing in on the iChagua system vis-a-vis the secret ballot system. What works best?
The introduction of the online system, the iChagua, as a form of election during the COVID-19 times was, to me, very apt because it solved the surgency. It solved the uncertainty that we were living in during the COVID times. The fact that we couldn't converge and we were not allowed to keep together at the time. So it solved the question of that time, that since we're not allowed to be together, we should then resort to voting on our phones. That was fine. Its introduction was very apt based on the time it came in.
First of all, this system is it's comfortable in a way that you vote from where you are. You don't have to move to go to a polling station to vote. You vote at your own time. Like, basically, you could be busy in the morning, as you know, it's a working day. Someone could be busy during morning, but lunch hours, someone is free. So someone could be in the DH eating food and is voting. That's the second reason. And it's cost efficient in the way that you don't have to, you only have to facilitate the MIS and the team that is working. So instead of the ballot whereby you have to buy, those ballot boxes, you have to buy paper, you have to do what?
The transition to the online election system was basically a system that would accommodate a transition due to the COVID pandemic that wouldn't allow physical voting, and so we adopted the online election system basically for that reason.
To start with, it is so convenient whereby you can vote from any place you are. Even people who are far away from the campus can still vote, unlike the secret ballot where you are required to be on campus. This means that it has given us larger numbers of people voting than actually when it was secret ballot. And then the other thing is it's more organized compared to the secret ballot. Reason being, online you'll do it at your convenience and you'll do it even off campus, compared to secret ballot where everyone needed to be at campus. And this sometimes could be chaotic because people could come with violence, as others are still trying to actually collect votes on the day of voting. And then another reason that I could give is it's time saving, because we know once you vote, it automatically counts in the system and it will tally in the system, compared to secret ballot where obviously we'll need people to count the votes.
It's clear that the online voting system, among other merits, is a time saver. But how much can we trust the credibility of online voting, especially now that the last election saw presidential results being contested?
Well, the disadvantages is, as we know, we are using our student portals, and sometimes students may share their login credentials with friends and other people who could actually help them vote. That is an issue we had, but that was solved by encouraging students to update their portals, and they were also given codes that were sent through their direct emails that would enable them vote. That was managed, and I cannot say because there's a petition, it was because of the elections, of the voting exactly. It could be maybe because of the process of the elections.
Ivan Simwende, the EC chairperson of the Social Works faculty, remains coherent with the Ichagua system.
From when I joined and from when we started using it, on my side, as me, it was effective. I didn't face any challenges. I was able to vote for my candidates at place of my convenience where I was. I didn't have to move to campus. I didn't have to go look for anyone to help me. So basically, I find it effective because, you do it at your own will and it's at your own convenience.
Marvin Twinawe, reporting for Media Link News.
Thank you so much, Marvin. UCU Focus Films has embarked on a brand new project dubbed My First Year. Films auditions took place this week, and this is the run of the events.
UCU Focus Films has hit the ball rolling on its third project, My First Year, with film auditions held for its set of role players at the e-learning center in the Hamukasa Library on Saturday and Wednesday. Following the success of earlier projects, My Degree and My Background, the team is set for a new challenge as they head on to their third phase. Gabriela Achere, the main character in My Background, shares her views about returning to the stage.
As actors, I believe that we should embody our roles and make sure that what we deliver to the audience is something realistic in the real world, you get. So for an actor, you have to be able to make your audience believe what you're doing, that it's actually real.
Besides Gabriela, a number of new students auditioned for this project.
My name is Nakami Chichaki. I am doing social work and social administration bachelor's. I love acting. My name is Nava Irene. I'm doing business administration, and I would like to act because it's a passion.
Interestingly, Nakabugo Ashun, a senior 6 vacist, made a surprise show for the auditions. Brian Kabogoza, the director of this film, relays its narrative and gives some advice to young filmmakers.
Well, My First Year is a film that is going to center more on our experience as students when we come to university in first year. We are going to see what we go through, the challenges we go through, and how we succeed in this journey at the university, because this is an experience of change of lives from high school to the university. Well, my advice to all young filmmakers out there is that you have to start right now. With your smartphone, you can have your smartphone and actually record a short film, and you can even submit it in awards, and that can actually go in 2 places. So if you're a filmmaker out there, start now. Don't wait to finish school. Start with what you have, and the future is bright for you.
Elna Grace, Agnes Safari, reporting for Media Link News.
Thank you so much, Elna Grace and Agnes Safari. After a highly contested Law Society election, Munyigwa Asfa Eli is the president-elect. Our reporter Bildan caught up with him, and this is his story.
Good evening, our viewers. This is UC Focus TV, and today we're having an exclusive with the newly elected president of Law Society, Uganda Christian University. Congratulations upon your victory.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, how do you feel about the new win that you have just gotten to yourself?
I feel so happy because, first of all, actually, this wasn't about only winning the presidency of Uganda Christian University Law Society, but it was about creating a thriving, a dynamic, and a supportive community to everyone, and that's what we intend to create. I feel happy, and I feel that indeed this new cabinet is going to work and serve the people.
So now, I want us to start from somewhere. I wanted us to know about your early life, yes? Tell us about when you were born, anything you remember from your childhood memories.
First of all, let me begin with my name is Safari. I'm a third-year student at Uganda Christian University, now the president-elect UC Law Society. I was born on the 3rd day of March 2000. Right now, that means I'm 23 years of age at the moment. I was celebrating, what I remember mostly in my early life, on 3rd day of March 2003, when I was celebrating my birthday of when I was making 3 years of age. My parents were going to buy for me a birthday gift somewhere, but they met an accident and I lost them on that day, all of them at once. At that time, a gentleman aged 3 years of age became a total orphan. That means if you don't have a parent, if you don't have any parents, existing parents who can support you at that early age, you become an adult. So that means I became an adult at the age of 3. That's when I started thinking like a man. When it comes to school fees, I took long to join school because most of our colleagues, most of the age mates, joined school when they were 3.5 years, but for me I had to join at 4. Why? We didn't have hope that actually time shall come and I get money to go to school. Now we had someone who was operating a certain nursery school. It was called Chiteze Nursery School. That person is called Madame Chuana. She's still existing. She's still alive at this time. So she came by at home and she told my sister, why don't we try to take this child Asaf to school? So she took me to her school and I was studying for free. However, she told my sister to work and get some money so that she can at least acquire for me some uniforms, shoes and other scholastics. And my sister did so and I was able to complete nursery.
Okay, so after nursery, you went to primary.
Yes.
Tell us the transition from nursery to primary.
The transition to primary, it was indeed a God-created transition because it came in a way that I didn't expect. In 2007, there are some people who came at our home. Those people are from an organization called Chain Uganda. Yeah. So when I was going to P1, those people came by. They came at home and they saw the situation that we are going through. My sister by then, I think she was 19, but she had to hustle to get for me money, to get for me tuition, school fees for primary. So they told her, don't worry, we are going to start sponsoring herself from today until when she will finish studies. So they started from 2007, and I testify that even up to now, they are still sponsoring me. Now, when we are leaving When I finished P7, I was from P1 to P7. I was in a UPE school. You know, there were some allegations. Even our teachers used to tell us that no one can come from a UPE school and we expect to go to university. Why? We are paying 30,000 by then, school fees. But I tell you that even at times some parents could fail to raise the 30,000 a student. Now, do you expect a parent who has failed to pay 30,000 to raise the 3.22 million at UCU? Of course, it's a no. Now, every time, you know, the sponsors set a target that for us we can only continue with the person who has scored such and such aggregates. So, when I was in primary, when I reached P7, the organization had to set a cutoff point. They had to set cutoff points, and by then it was 18 points. I mean, it was 18 aggregates, and in that UPE school, what was called Wampeo Primary School, it's still there even right now. I managed to get a super second grade. I got 15 points, and therefore I had
15 aggregates.
Yeah, 15 aggregates. 15 aggregates, and I had to go to secondary. When I reached high school, I knew that I was an orphan, and I was like, how am I going to exercise my potential so that, you know, I create something that's called limitless possibilities on my side. In senior 3, I decided to take up campaigns, like to campaign for a certain post. It was deputy sanitary prefect, and indeed people trusted me with their mandate, and I served from senior 3 to senior 4 as the deputy sanitary prefect. That's where my leadership character developed from, because I was like, if I can lead in a 5-star institution like Eli School, when I'm an orphan, a person who doesn't have anything, because even in campaigns I didn't buy anything for students, I just talked to them and they bought ideas and they put me into office. So that's where my leadership character developed from.
You can find more of the full interview on our YouTube channel, UCU Focus TV. The interfaculty semi-final draws have been delayed with the School of Business tabling a petition against the Faculty of Engineering. We have more on the story.
The group stages of the UCU Interfaculty Games came to an end last week. The semi-finals were supposed to start on Wednesday 15th, but the games were postponed due to a petition from the business school. We spoke with business coach Brian, who told us why he petitioned the School of Engineering and Technology.
Our main reason for the petition was we wanted clarity on why some teams did play without albums, and it came to our notice that the engineering team didn't have an album, meaning they didn't register for the tournament as it was stipulated in their guidelines. That was guideline number 2, that for every team to take part in the tournament, they had to submit an album with a limited number of players before the tournament begins. But I don't know whether there are some other faculties that did play without albums, but for us it came to our notice that why did we provide an album and yet other teams didn't? Because if they didn't, they were given a liberty of using any number of players they felt like, and which wasn't given to us. And we are asking the committee, so those teams were playing on which grounds?
Leju Godwill, a player of engineering and technology, shared his views about the petition.
It demoralized almost most of us. It's not only even the engineering, but then I can say that also the social sciences and then agriculture, in that when they came to the pitch, they had lined up already. As they were entering in the playground, it's when their game was cancelled, of which that is something that is never okay. It's like I don't know how to bring it in a very calm way, but then I have to be honest. Actually, we are like fools, you get. We had people, supporters, who were already at the pavilions to come and support. The engineers themselves had been training, knowing that their game is the next Friday. not the next Friday, but then the next day. But then when this happened, we were actually wondering why it happened. But then from the hearings, we just hope for the best and we hope everything goes through.
We also spoke with social science coach Henry, who told us how his very prepared team took the news of postponement.
To a large extent, it has not demoralized because it has helped me to go back and organize my players, because the game day, I had most of my senior players were having injuries. Some of them were out, they had home things disturbing them. Yeah, then if you go to a small extent, it has, because time, we wasted a lot of time financially. We bought our water, even financing our players in terms of glucose, water, all that was wasted on that day. Even our fans had come to support us, but they went disappointed, which was unfair because of the court order which Honorable Owen brought. He just organized everything. But all in all, I went and organized my team. Players are back and they are ready for any game.
Andrew Aboga, Made in Nyanzi, Media Link News.
Well, thank you so much, Andrew Aboga and Nyanzi Mede, for the news that you have given us. Well, as the evening comes to an end, don't forget to follow us, UCU Focus TV, on Twitter, and to subscribe on our YouTube channel, UCU Focus TV. Well, that was me, Zipporah Faith, with you this evening. Hope you have a lovely weekend. And before I sign out, today we are having the AZANIA, and we are going to broadcast to you live what is going on right now. Good night.
Yes, right now we're here at AZANIA. This is every Friday. It happens every single Friday at M Block N1, but today it's at M3. If you're available at your hostel, just find a way to come to M Block. It's going to be a very crazy moment. This is the best place to have your weekend. Start your weekend from, of course, it's a preparations for Project Trinity. Project Trinity will be happening on the 31st of this month, and these auditions that we expect people who are auditioning today, people who are auditioning in Tanzania every single Friday to be on the main stage, the big stage during Project Trinity. We have a number of people in the room. I don't know if my cameraman can pan around to see people who are available right now, but people are trickling in from wherever they are. People having supper, but as soon as they're done with their supper, they're coming through for this amazing project. Just to keep you in touch with Tanzania, poets come to Tanzania, songstresses, people that actually musicians generally, that's the word I should use, come over to Tanzania to express their talent. Yeah, this is the platform that UCU gives to the performing arts, and I feel this is a big opportunity for everyone out there to take part in. This is an opportunity I'll call you to join. Faith Zipporah, I want you to come and, of course, after the news bulletin, come and join this amazing group of creatives. My name is Bill Arnold. I look forward to seeing you, the producer in the room, Yulungule Emma, Timothy Okurut, Marvin, and of course the news anchor for today, Faith Zipporah. Back to you in the studio.